We love sausage balls, but the only time of the year I ever make them is at Christmas. I don't know why, but that's the only time I make them. We like to make up this little sauce to go with them. So this is some apple jelly, just apple jelly that I can. So that's about 1/2 of a cup. And then you just mix mustard to your taste. So I'll just start out with a squirt or two and then see what it tastes like. And it makes a really good dip for your sausage balls, as if they weren't good enough already on their own. So good. One of the easiest desserts I make around Christmas is to take 2 Ritz crackers, put peanut butter between them, like you're making a little peanut butter cracker. I've melted almond bark, and now I'm going to coat it in the almond bark. You could also use melted chocolate. Using a fork works really well. Then once you get it out, you can kind of tap it on the side of the bowl to get the excess off. Then you can set it to the side on a rack or on a plate, whatever you have. I'm using a rack, until it hardens, and then it's ready to store, just like in an airtight container, and ready to serve. I've been making Christmas candy today. Right now I'm getting ready to put out my hot pralines. So good, one of our favorite things to make at Christmas, one of my favorite things to make. I have a video that tells how to make them, so you can check that out if you're interested. Wouldn't be Christmas without pralines, would it, Corey?
I could smell them through the house before.
When the girls were little, and it would get Christmas time and I'd start baking and cooking sweet stuff, they'd say, "Mama, when are you gonna make the brown things?" The brown things, that's what they called them. Next up on my candy list is coconut bonbons. Several years ago, Corey, well, 2 reasons I started making them. For one thing, Corey was trying to not eat sugar, so these bonbons have coconut, but they have natural sweetener. They have honey, or you could use maple syrup in them, either one. Of course, they do have the chocolate too. But trying to cut back on sugar, so one of the reasons was for Corey. Another reason was I've always loved them. And years ago, when the girls were in elementary school, there was a lady that worked in their elementary lunchroom, and one year she gave me some coconut bonbons, and they were the best I'd ever eaten in my life. And ever since then, I was on the hunt to find the best recipe, and I tried several, but this is the one that I like the best, and I've been making ever since. And if you look in the description below, you can go see the recipe, the entire recipe. But they are really good, very coconutty if you like coconut. And of course, who don't like chocolate? Although there are some people that don't, I know. But if you want to, and it's fairly easy and quick candy to make too. So if you want to try a coconut bonbon, you can check out the recipe. So we've come over to Corey and Austin's to have Christmas with them tonight. You can see their pretty tree.
I got
It's just beautiful.
For 'em.
Which one?
That one. It's like a little tree. And then they got.
It's pretty.
Let's see. I was with her when she got this. That's a ceramic, like a little bird. That's pretty. And then one of our friends sent us this, and that was an ornament that her family made a long time ago. Isn't that sweet?
It's very sweet.
And that one has Austin's name on it from when he was born.
Yeah, my dad's mom.
Merry Christmas.
There's another one.
So today is Christmas Eve. Tomorrow for Christmas we'll go to Granny's to eat with everybody. So we're kind of trying to get ready today so that we don't have to do it all tomorrow. So Corey's making our dressing. Matt made it for years. It's just the best dressing. It's his grandfather's recipe, and we'll put a link down below so if you're interested in seeing it. It's just a cornbread dressing, but it's really good. But somewhere along the way, Corey took over the job.
Yeah.
And she's been making it for the past several years, and it is really good. And what else have we got going on, Corey? We've got egg. You hear the stove. If you can hear the boiling, we've got eggs boiling because eggs go in the dressing. So Corey's boiling her eggs. Got cornbread in the oven.
Yep. Got my onions that are starting to make my eyes burn.
Yeah, starting to make her cry. I'm in the middle of making some chocolate pies because Matt requested chocolate pies this year for Christmas, so we're going to have those. What else we got going on? We're going to try to do the sweet potatoes today. And Corey's going to make a dessert for her.
Raspberry bars.
Gluten-free for her and Katie. And whoever else wants them. Yeah. So we've got a busy day, but it's a fun day to be together. And Katie's here. She's working on some last-minute gifts for the family in the basement. Matt's gone hunting today. So tonight for Christmas Eve, Miss Cindy always comes over, Matt's mother, so we'll have her over. We'll have some oyster stew and maybe eat one of these pies I'm making. So yeah,
Fun times. Sisters. Cabinet.
You can tell about that.
Every time we film, we try to close the cabinets behind us, but it never fails that at least one of them will be open.
Who leaves them open? Me.
Oh well, I do it too though.
Mostly me. I leave cabinet doors open all the time.
I do it too, so don't feel bad. Special sunglasses so when they're pregnant. There's a curtain.
I've heard that before, that if you wear sunglasses, but I think I tried it and it don't work.
Well, I would also be afraid if I wore sunglasses that I would miss and cut my hand. I'd rather have a little bit of burning eyes than a big old gash in my finger.
So Matt's making our annual Christmas Eve dinner, which is oyster stew. His grandpa made it, and then his daddy made it, and then now, Lord, for years, since me and Matt's been married, he makes it. It's a really simple stew. It's just basically milk and butter, pepper to your taste, and the oysters. Kind of heat it all slow till the oysters are cooked, and then that's it. It's done. The girls don't really like it at all. I don't even know if they've ever tasted it, to be honest, but they say they don't like it. Me and Matt love it. Pap loved it. When he was still alive, Matt would carry him some down the hill so that he could enjoy it every Christmas Eve too, and he loved it as much as we do. When Matt first started making it, of course, I loved the history of his family making it, but I thought, well, it's just his family. It's just something kind of unique in the Pressley family. But after that, I found out, no, it's a really common tradition. Lots of people have oyster stew on Christmas Eve, which is really interesting. So there's a longer history there. And someone, I just have the best subscribers and commenters on all my videos. Someone yesterday or the day before, I can't remember, but left a comment about oyster stew, and they said that it was common, like in the old days, you would say that oysters were only good in the months that the months that ended with the letter R, like December or November or October. And they said the reason why was because that was the only time of the year that they could travel by train without, refrigeration and all that, and still be good when they got to where they were going. Isn't that interesting? Mm-hmm. So Matt's added the oysters. He heated the milk until the butter melted, and maybe a little bit after that, a few more minutes. You have to be careful not let it boil. You just want to heat it gently. And now he's got the oysters in.
Some people will put a thermometer in it. I don't even know what the correct degrees is. I'll just use my finger. So old way, I guess, but if I stick my finger in it till I almost can't stand it, and that's when I put them in. And then I leave them in there till it comes back up to that temperature. When you put the cold oysters in there, it'll suck the heat out of it. And when it comes back up to, I can barely put my finger in it without it burning me, that's when I know they're probably done.
And if you don't want to use your finger, you can certainly get some out in a bowl and do that, or use your finger that way, or use a thermometer. I'm sure if you Google, you could probably find what temperature it needs to be at. And the reason we're cooking it outside here, normally we wouldn't do that, but Corey's still cooking for Christmas dinner inside for tomorrow. She's finishing up some last minute things, and so Matt said, well, it'll just be easier if I get out of the way and go to the porch. It is pretty. It's going to be good.
I'm tired. I've been going stuff like that.
I'm dressed.
I'm very pleased though.
Is it all done?
Mm-hmm. All the presents are wrapped. All the stuff is made.
When you making something for me?
Mm-hmm.
Got cute?
No. Now you've done seen it anyway.
I haven't seen the finished product.
That's my food, guys. I'm so lucky. Not only would my business never have been what it would have been had I not worked hard.
Uh-oh.
But it never would have been what it is without all the support I've had. And all the different ways I've had it. I don't know, we'll find out. Just kidding. Very grateful for that.
Not yours.
No, it was here when I got here. It's yours. Thank you.
I'm wrapping just one or two more presents before I go to Granny's. And I got her this for Christmas. This is Pap. And the reason I would have never thought to get it myself, but several months ago, probably way back even in the summer, I was helping Granny clean out, and we found a picture of her about this same age. in the same black and white. And she said, you know what I want you to do? I want you to take this and have it put on one of those canvas things for me. And I said, okay. Well, I took it, and it was months before I remembered to actually do it, but I did. And then I took it to her, and she was so excited, and she hung it on the wall. And then the next time I went to see her, she said, now that you've made that one of me, I started thinking about it. I've got on a homemade dress. Well, there's that picture of your daddy where he's got on a homemade shirt that Big Grandma made. I did not know that Big Grandma made that shirt till she told me that. And I guess Pap had told her that, or Pap's mother maybe years ago. Anyway, she said, I want you to do the one for Pap, and then we could hang them together since we both got homemade clothes on and we're about the same age. I said, okay. So I got it right away for her for Christmas. And then about 2 weeks ago or something, I was down there one day, and she said, you know, you never did get me that picture of your daddy. I said, well, maybe you just ain't waited long enough. And she didn't say anything, so I know she'll be pleased with it. So we're about to put our Christmas turkey in. Over the years, we've done it lots of different ways. Our favorite way to do it is to deep fry it. Matt would deep fry turkey, but that takes a lot of planning. Oil is very expensive, all those kind of things. So a few years ago when I was making it, probably, I don't know, 5 years or something, I found a recipe online from someone who had worked at a camp or something like that, where they had to make turkey for so many weeks. Every week they served, that was the meal, they served Thanksgiving. So over the years they had perfected this, what they thought was the best, and it was really simple. So I thought, well, I'll try it. So I did, and we liked it, and I've been doing it like that ever since. So basically, the night before that you're going to cook the turkey, you get it out and you dry it off and do all those kind of things, and you sprinkle it all over with salt. And then you put it uncovered in your refrigerator overnight, and that salt kind of draws out or seeps down into it, kind of like a brine would, I guess. Anyway, so the next morning when you're going to cook it, you get it out and you let it come to room temperature before you ever put it in the oven. I know that may sound scary to some people, but that's the way we've been doing it, and we've been okay with it. Then when you're about to put it in the oven, you smear it all over with butter, and that's it. You can add other seasonings inside the cavity if you want to, do whatever. I'll link to that article below, to that recipe, so you can see it. But it turns out really well. We cook it for the first, depends on how big your turkey is, of course, how long you would cook it. But for the first 20 minutes, cook it at 400, and then we lower it to 350 for the rest of the cooking. Then once it's out, we let it rest for a good 20 to 30 minutes before we actually eat it. And it turns out really well, doesn't it? Everybody seems to love it. So that's just the way we've been doing it ever since I found that recipe. So now we just need to put the butter on and get it in the oven. After it's sit overnight, sometimes some additional liquid drains out, so we just kind of wipe it out before we start the butter process.
Two, three. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jesus. Happy birthday to you. Merry Christmas, and we hope that you guys all have a wonderful, wonderful Christmas. Merry Christmas. I hope everyone had a wonderful Christmas and that everyone has a Happy New Year.
I hope everybody had a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
I hope you enjoyed seeing a peek into our Christmas. We've had a wonderful Christmas. We are beyond blessed. I'm so thankful for all the blessings God has bestowed upon us. I hope that your Christmas was good as well. If you can see behind me all these lovely cards, they were sent mostly by subscribers from Celebrating Appalachia. Thank you so much to each person that sent a card. When I was growing up, Granny would always keep all of her cards, and she would either hang them on a like a crocheted rope that she made around the window, or she would tape them around the door jamb. And I've never, since I've been married, there's never been a time that I got enough cards to actually do that. I get a few cards every year, and I usually just stand them on the buffet here among all my Christmas decorations. But this is the first year that I had enough to go all the way around my window, and I was so pleased and so thankful and so tickled. Every card brightened our day and made our Christmas so much even more special. We really appreciate it, and we appreciate each of you, and we hope that each of you had a very Merry Christmas.